I think there are so many different ways out there to manifest and so many different guides that people have and different techniques. And I think the trick really is just finding what works for you. I made a TikTok about this actually, but there's this technique people use or like metaphor people use, sometimes like creators will use on their channels where they're like, "Oh, just think of it as like think of your manifestation or what you want to occur as like an online order. You don't spend your whole week stressing over the order. Like once you place the order, you know it's going to come in the mail." And for me, as someone living in New York City, babe, no mailroom in my building. I don't have that privilege anymore. The package could get stolen very easily. Also, I don't know what's up with the mail people here, no offense, but they will just like leave things in random places. I will get my neighbor's mail all the time, even though the apartment number is like listed. Why are you always putting it in the wrong spot? It's listed, it's literally there. So, as you can tell, that's kind of a stressful spot for me. Yes, I am going to stress if I place an order. So, I choose to not look at manifestation through that lens of placing a package order in the mail because it doesn't work for me. If that works for you, great. And I think the beauty in that is different things are going to work for different people. So I will say one of my favorite tried and true methods is scripting, and I was actually doing this back in the day before I even knew it was a method for manifestation. So I'm sure most of you guys know what these are, but kind of putting my own spin on them, so period, and I would love to hear your thoughts on any of them down below. But scripting is basically literally that you write out what you want to happen, and I think the trick is writing it as if it's already happened. Another specific thing you can do is write like a thank you letter to the universe or God or your future self, like thanking it, them, yourself for making all your dreams come true. I remember in 2015, 2016, I had a creative writing class, and I would use that as an opportunity so much to basically do this. And again, I wasn't really aware of it at the time, but during that time, the vegan days, TBT, I wanted to move to LA so bad. I was finishing up high school, and that was like what I wanted to do and keep making my vegan vlogs and all that. And so almost every creative writing piece was about traveling or like a girl who lived in an apartment and she could see like the palm trees from her window. And all of that basically came true for me. Like I wasn't writing it in the sense of I want this to happen for myself. I was just writing a story. It was like a creative writing class, so it was fiction. Um but so many of those things came true because I had that outlet of writing it down, being able to completely visualize it and put myself in the space, whether it was an airplane or that girl's apartment in my story. And it just really allowed me to completely like immerse myself in the scene. It's so easy to get intimidated by big goals that we have, especially if it's things like your living situation, you know, a relationship, if you want to travel to this dream destination, if you want this completely different job. Some things just feel like it's going to take so much work and effort and just be so hard to attain. Not that any of those things are necessarily just inherently like hard, but it's like if you really don't like your current situation, sometimes your ideal situation seems miles away and just impossible, like up a huge mountain. So when you can get really specific on what you will feel like in the moment, like I just remember that scene in my story of the girl like looking out her window, and I just really was describing that window and what the view looked like and the palm trees. It just felt very realistic because you have to remember that even in your dream scenario, your dream life, you're still going to be you. And I love, like I'm rewatching The Sopranos. I think I've seen it so many times. I think the fall is just like Sopranos season. And obviously, like all these characters have so many issues and like they're all effed up. And I think it's just so funny. It's like, not funny, but like, you can have all this money and like, Carmela, for example, is like the life she signed up for. Is, being the rich housewife. She's getting, her extravagant gifts from Tony. She's living in this nice house. Everything's taken care of, but like she is still unhappy. Like she's still stressed out. She's still like up in the middle of the night wondering where he is. she's still like yearning. It's one thing to just imagine the things that you want, like a big house or a diamond ring or like whatever material items, because you could have all of that and still be unhappy. Of course, I think money can buy happiness to a certain extent, like duh, and like freedom. But when you focus on the feeling, like how would I feel every day waking up, like looking out that window or doing my daily tasks or doing my workout of the day or whatever, that is such a more realistic way to go about it. So like when you're scripting, it's like writing down how you're going to feel as well. Like I feel so at peace, I feel so relaxed. Because material items babe, I'm not a minimalist. Like I'm a chic girly. I love me some online shopping, but I do think like when you go too far that way, it's empty. It really is. So you have to focus on the feeling. Like you could be rich and miserable. Not that like I'm not saying you shouldn't wish to be rich, but you know what I mean? Like focusing on the feeling is more important because then it allows you to also see other opportunities in the now in your current circumstance where you feel that, where you feel at peace, where you feel just full, grateful, whatever it is you want to feel. Because no matter what we have, you're still going to be subject to the human experience and like bad moods or just like unforeseen circumstances. So focusing more on like I'm creating a life that is at baseline peaceful and I feel good, and then that's like what we can build off of. So making sure I think to include that in your manifestations and then like in your scripting when you're writing this down and not just focusing on like dear diary, thank you so much for all these items and it's like your wish list just written out. You know what I mean? Of course you can do that and if it works for you great, but having that balance of like this is how I want to feel along with my items, thank you. That is going to be what seals the deal.